Today is the 26th of June, and we're living amongst a pandemic.
Some days there's no one
Hello,
else
everyone. My name
who
is
loves me
Dr.
like
Saad
you
Shakil,
used to.
and I've decided to vlog my journey
Some
as I
days I'm not
frontline through
myself.
this
There's
coronavirus
no
pandemic.
one I can do.
Good morning. It is currently 5:30 a.m. in the morning. Um, just got some pretty horrible news about a patient at work who we've been working for the past 10, 15 days on. Um, Work usually starts for me at around 8 a.m., but and I usually wake up at 6:30 at home. But now, um, since the COVID situation started and since I've started working in COVID, I moved away from home because I didn't want to take it home, and I've moved to this apartment um, with a couple of colleagues, which is 5 minutes away from work. So I just, for the next 2 hours, I don't think I'll be able to sleep, but I'll just surf the internet and then I'll just get dressed and head to work, I guess. Whoa, bedhead. I need to fix the situation first. Just a second. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Anyways, I'm also sorry about starting this vlog with a very depressing clip. But I heard some pretty awful news about this patient of mine. She was an elderly female, and she obviously had COVID, and along with that, she had some cardiac issues. She was diabetic, and got some pretty awful news, and that was very, very depressing because it was very early on in the morning. But it's 2 hours later. I feel much better. That's how my line of work works. We need to bounce back like that, and hopefully, inshallah, we'll have a good day. I'm just about to get dressed to go to work, and we'll see how the day goes, and you're gonna come with me. So how my day usually works is that I just live 5 minutes away, as I said, because I've moved out of my house for the COVID situation. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go, and the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to take over from the doctor who was there at night. I'm going to tell him what happened. He's going to tell me what happened. He's going to update me about all the other patients and everything. When that happens, I'm going to do some paperwork. I'm going to update myself in the labs of those patients. I'm going to see their x-rays and all of that. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to go inside the isolation wing, and we're going to see all the patients in person. I'm going to come out, and then we're going to go to our consultant board meeting, and we're going to decide how we're going to progress with the care of those other patients. And you're going to come with me. So let's go.
Some days there's no one else who loves me like you used to. Some days I'm not myself. There's no one I can turn to. All the feelings that we shared are in the past.
We're in the COVID control room. The first order of business is to update myself on the affairs of the past 12 hours. I will go patient by patient looking at their labs and x-rays. I will be using my phone to see the x-rays. I swear I'm not Instagramming. But before I could do that, I got an emergency call from the isolation wing.
So I was sitting in the COVID control room when I got a call that a patient has developed a cardiac arrhythmia. His heart rate is really high and his blood pressure is tanking. So we ordered an ECG on him, and we found out that the patient has developed atrial fibrillation, which means that his atria are contracting really fast and they're not pumping enough blood to the ventricles, and the ventricles are responsible to supply blood to the rest of the body. So what we're going to do now is that because of that atrial fibrillation, that the patient's blood pressure is not high enough. So we're going to go inside. I am currently in the donning room of the isolation room, which is the area where we wear our personal protective equipment. We're going to go inside and we're going to shock the patient. We call that DC cardioversion, which means that we're going to shock the patient back into sinus rhythm, hoping that the rhythm reverses back to normal sinus rhythm or the normal heart rhythm. Wish me luck.
Here you can see that I am selecting the energy on the defibrillator. Basically, the difference between defibrillation and cardioversion is that cardioversion is done synchronized with the patient's heartbeat, and it is done in a pulsed patient, not a pulseless patient, so the patient is not dead. And this was the second shock that we were delivering to this patient. The first shock he did not respond very well to. We had already applied the gel, and we're going to shock the patient again. The good news about this delivery was that the patient did return back to sinus rhythm, as you can all see. However, a cardiology consult was called on the patient. While I was in the isolation wing, I obviously did my round and I saw all the other patients and see how they were doing. I chatted with them for a bit. You can also see that this is how we make sure that our patient is interacting with their family. The patient's family is standing outside and they're talking on the phone. So after averting our cardiology crisis, we came down to the consultant board. You can all see that we're looking at this one particular area in the room, and that's where the screen is. We actually can see the patient and talk to the patient if we want to. We discuss each patient one by one. We look at their labs, we look at their x-rays, and then our consultant tells us what we're going to do next for their care. And after we're done, I actually go up to the patient and then we discuss what's going to happen to them, after which I go to the attendants, which is the family of those patients, and tell them what's going on with their patient, what we're going to do differently, if they're feeling any better, and hopefully everything.
So I am currently halfway done with my shift. I've discharged 2 patients today, which is a win. Also, I've got 2 admissions as well. Very stressful day. There are 3 patients on the ventilator who are not doing pretty well, but we're hoping for the best, of course. It's been pretty stressful as of now. Let's just hope that nothing terrible happens in the next 2 or 3 hours and my patients recover somehow miraculously all of a sudden. But this definitely takes a toll on you, emotionally and physically.
So that particular phone call was about another patient having very high potassium. High potassium levels can cause sudden cardiac arrests, so we had to address that. I was already stressed, but we had to march on.
So we're almost done with the day. Today was an okayish day. A few of our patients are not doing that great. They're on the ventilator, but we discharged a patient today, which is a win. Along with that, we've been catching up on some paperwork. Here's my champion who's working with me. So what we're going to do is we're almost done. So we have this book that we have to basically maintain, and we have to write everything that we do. In that particular day, we have to make sure that all the orders that we discussed in our round were carried out. And along with that, this particular book has what tasks are left over for the doctor who's going to take over next. So we're almost done, and that's about it.
So we just got done with our shift, and myself, Farhan, and another friend of ours we're out to eat before we head home. And you can see outside, clearly there's a lot of corona happening, and yeah, definitely a social distancing lockdown situation happening. But do not judge us, we're gonna eat in the car, so that's how it is. And yep. इनमें से कोई एक will end up in the hospital tomorrow. So that's gonna be fun. Anyways, let's hope for the best.
Oh, I just came back home. I disinfected, showered, and changed, all of that shebang. We had pizza. That was probably my first meal of the day. It was great. Today was an okayish day, and no one died, which is a win. We discharged 3 patients, which was great. It was pretty hectic because a lot was happening at the same time at one particular point, and there were a few patients who were pretty ill. So I wanted to make this video to show the world how doctors around the world are operating in the current pandemic. And hopefully, I showed you all how hectic it can be for the people who don't have the privilege of sitting at home. But on the other hand, we have the privilege of helping other people, which is great. Um, I when I was making this video, I was given the opportunity to make this very sensational, very dark, and very bleak. But I'm not going to do that because this is the new normal. This is what's going to happen for the next few months, and I want to show how people are operating all around the world, and I want to make it as pumped up and lively as possible, and hopefully I'll be able to do that. Anyways, if all of you have the privilege to stay at home and be safe, please do that, because that would be a great service that you would be doing to doctors all around the world. And till next time, I hope I make another video. Just stay at home, stay safe. Just cherish everyone around you, because some people don't even have the option of seeing their family every day. And I'm not going to complain about it. So stay safe, stay at home, and just enjoy this quarantine. And hopefully, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.